Hey guys, it's Pastor Sam, and today I'm wondering if you can help me out with something. I got a letter in the mail that said, "For Pastor Sam, this is the second best way to learn about God." Now, we know that the best way to learn about God is through the Bible, but if there's a second best way, I definitely want to know what that is. The problem is, I unfolded this letter and I looked at it really close. I even used a magnifying glass to look at it all over really close. And I also had some fun with a magnifying glass while I did it. But even though I held it up to the light, and even though I looked really close, I don't see anything on this paper. And I really want to know what the second best way to learn about God is. So I have an idea. I think what I'm going to do is apply some fire to this paper. Now remember, if you do anything at all with fire at home, you always need an adult to help out. And it may not seem like a great idea to put fire on a paper when you really want to know what it says. But I think we might be able to figure out the secret message in this paper if we look really closely. Let's try it out. So I see something showing up here, but na is not a complete word. So let's keep trying this out, applying more fire to this paper and see what else shows up. Alright you guys, I definitely found the secret message and you are gonna be so excited when you find out what it is. It's so obvious, I can't believe I didn't think about it. It's nature. Nature is the second best way to learn about God because God made it and it tells us so much about Him. I'm so glad we tried heating up this paper with a little bit of fire so that we could find out this message. But of course, before we think about nature and all the things it can teach us about God, the question is, why is it that fire brought out this secret message? And can we do it at home? I think so. So, if you want to write a secret message, it's really easy. All you need is some lemon juice, and you can do it fresh squeezed like I did, or you can just buy some at the store, a cotton swab, and a piece of paper. Just dip your cotton swab in the lemon juice and write any message you want. For example, I wrote, "Hello." And then wait for this to dry and then give it to a friend and see if they can figure out what your secret message is. Of course, they will have to heat it up with a flame. I've also heard an iron works well if you want to try a true experiment and try it out. They'll have to heat it up to see what the message says. But why is it that when we heat up lemon juice, dried lemon juice on a piece of paper, we see a secret message? Well, of course, it is because of science. It's because of a chemical process called oxidation. The lemon juice has carbon elements in it, and when we heat up carbon and it goes into the atmosphere, one of the effects of oxidation is making it darker. One place that you see this often is with apples. I cut this apple in half earlier, and before when I cut it in half it was white, but as you can see, it's actually browning because of oxidation. As carbon is released and interacts with the oxygen, it makes the apple turn a lot darker. And in the same way, when we heated up the lemon juice in our secret message, it revealed to us the second best way to learn about God, which is in nature. So I think if the second best way to learn about God is in nature, we should go ahead into nature and check some stuff out. What do you say? Let's go. The really great thing about nature is that it can teach us even in our own backyard, or in my case, side yard. Over the winter, the snow fell so hard that this tree actually cracked and fell over. So the city came and cut it off. We were able to get a piece of it, which is awesome because trees have rings. And as you may have learned in school, the rings on a tree tell us its story. There's one ring for every year, and as you look at the rings, the wider or the skinnier they are tell us how much it rained that year, and it can even tell us a lot about the temperature of that year, and if there were any natural disasters like fire that was close, or if it was really hot that year. The stories of a tree hidden in its rings reminds us that you and I have stories too. And just like God was with this tree through all of it, and this tree stood firm for many, many years, through all the years of our lives, no matter what we go through, hard times and good times, God is always with us. So we're here now in another place that I often pass when I go on walks. And it might look like we're just sitting around some random green plants that grew by the side of the road. But actually, if you look really close, you can see that purple flowers, just like that, are starting to bloom here. And before we know it, this entire side of the road is going to be blooming in purple wildflowers. That is so incredible, especially if you look at these pods with a magnifying glass, and you can see that there are seeds ready to scatter everywhere. This reminds me that God says that when our hearts are good soil and ready to receive Him, He can make beautiful things bloom in our lives at any time. So let's watch for God, and let's make sure that our hearts are always ready to receive Him. Just like this soil received the seeds that came to it in the wind, and now these purple flowers will be here in just a minute. So as we just saw, nature is amazing, and it's because of our Creator God that made it all with just His words. What Psalm 19 verse 1 tells us is, "The heavens declare the glory of God. The skies proclaim the work of His hands. Day after day they pour forth speech. Night after night they reveal knowledge. They have no speech. They use no words. No sound is heard from them. Yet their voice goes out into all the earth, their words to the ends of the world." And what that tells us is that nature truly is God's second book. We learn about God from the Bible, but we can also learn so much about God through nature. So today, as you go for a walk, and in this week, as you're looking around the world, look and see what secrets God wants to tell you about how much He loves you and how close He is to you in nature, because nature truly is God's second book.